chain prompting is a fundamental skill which might skyrocket your output quality. Today we are going to dive deep into what chain prompting is, how to properly use it, and how it differs from chain of thought prompt. Hi, I'm Bart. I'm a serial entrepreneur, these days trying to automate everything I can in my e-commerce company, and along the way, documenting it on YouTube. Let's get started. All right, today we are going to talk about what chain prompting is. I'm going to provide you with some basic examples and explain the theory on a blog post example which I created. Then we are going to jump right into a live demo with an Amazon product. I prepared some things and to show you how it actually works in ChatGPT. And then we are going to explore what the differences are between chain prompting and chain of thought prompting. And then you get a summary conclusion and a comparison between those two, which you should best use when. So what is chain prompt? The definition is breaking a complex task into smaller connected steps. Meaning if we have something which is quite complex, like for example, writing a blog post, or imagine you have a project at your work which need a lot of tasks to be done until it is completed. So what you might do, you might think about what to do first, how to actually approach it, which tasks to do first. And this is basically what chain prompting is. It is guiding the AI through to give you the final, bigger, complex output. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because we can get more focus on coherent outputs like that. And it allows us for iterations and refinement at each step. And this is, for me personally, the most important part about this. You can, each step of the way, adapt and iterate and make your outputs better and better and build upon those outputs to get a perfect end result. So the first step would be we take a big task, like for example, we have our blog post, and to get a blog post ready, we have to do a lot of things. For example, we have to have a title. We most likely have to have some kind of outline so we know what actually we are writing when, so it has some structure. Then when we have the outline, we might start writing with the first part, the second part, the third part. Then we need a conclusion. So we need all of this done to have a blog post ready. The next step would be, if we know what the tasks are, then give them some order. So what is the first step? What is the second step? What is the third step? And so on. In this example, we are going to start with title as the first step. Then we are going to do the outline. Of course, you could start also with the conclusion first. You can decide whatever you want, but for this example, we are going to go just like it is described here. Now is where the magic happens. Now we are starting to prompt. What we are going to do is, first, we start with brainstorming the title. So we ask the AI to give us some titles on any topic we want to write about. And then we iterate on this step until we have the final title. With iteration, I mean we reprompt the AI until we get the final result with which we are happy. And when we are done with this part, we jump to the next part using this title, this information which we have here. So the output from the first prompts, we use it to create the outline for the whole blog on this topic. And then we are iterating on the whole outline until we are happy again. And after the outline is done, we can jump right in and start writing the first part, iterate on the first part, start the second part, start the third part, write a conclusion, and so on until we have all the parts done. And then finally, we have the blog post. So this process is called chain prompting, because we're chaining each result and we are using that result in our next prompt. So we're taking a big problem, starting with something small like a title, and build up on this on the outline, then on the first part, on the second part, and keep all this information in the same chat window. So the AI, like ChatGPT, is keeping all those information in memory and in the context so we get one coherent output. So here again, one chat window, meaning the same context. That's very important that we keep everything in the same chat window and we move forward. We might stop here, for example, and notice, okay, we are at part 2 and we would like to adapt the outline. So we might jump back and iterate on the outline again and then go back here until we are done. We are free to do whatever we like until we get our perfect result. The goal is the best quality output that we can possibly get. And this is why we're guiding constantly on each step of the way the AI. Now that we know, in theory, what chain prompting is, let's dive right in with our live example. Today we are going to prepare an Amazon product description. Everybody is buying on Amazon, and everybody knows how an Amazon product more or less look like. And I have an e-commerce store selling on Amazon, so I know one or two things about that and have to write a lot of product descriptions. So we are going to start first with the bullet points. After we have the bullet points, we are going to jump into the product description and then brainstorm infographics to use the same information and to have one coherent, good product listing. To not lose too much time, I prepared, of course, some prompts that we're going to use to guide the AI to our perfect Amazon product description or perfect bullet points, and to get the AI to give us some ideas on how we could prepare our infographics. Our initial prompt will look like this. I'm going to open this everything here. I'm not going too deep into this because it's a lot of text. If you're interested in how I am preparing this kind of prompts, which are made as good as possible for ChatGPT, I will make a video on meta prompting. That's how it's called, because I didn't write this myself. Of course, I found out some information about this product. We are going to use today Garmin Epix Pro Gen 2 smartwatch. This information here, of course, I took from the internet. It might not even be accurate, so yeah, it's just an example, guys. Let's not go too deep into details on that. Here we have some instructions because we are going to start with the bullet points. So we have to tell the AI how the bullet points should look like, how long a bullet point should be, and so on. Then we have the task. And then we have also the AI persona, which the AI should act as to give us our perfect bullet points. If you are interested in how to do it, again, I will do a separate video on meta prompting to show you how to tell the AI to give you the perfect prompt for anything you might want to do. All right, so we are going to take this and copy it. This, by the way, is Markdown. You can use a simple text file for it. The most important part here is that it is divided in headings. ChatGPT likes Markdown, I notice, so it gives me good outputs with Markdown because it is a clear distinction where one part starts and the other part ends. For example, this here is a level 3 heading, so we have 3 hashtags, and ChatGPT automatically knows that when the next heading starts, this part is over, and then it seems to better think about the problem. Okay, we copied it. Let us go to our ChatGPT window. We are going to use ChatGPT 4.0 for this one. Let's put it in. There's our whole prompt. And, oh, it's giving us even 2 responses. That's nice. Let us see which one we are going to take. Okay, it actually doesn't matter because it's just an example. I will take this one. Now that we have our 5 bullet points, it's actually quite good. Yeah, the prompt. Also, I worked a lot on this prompt with ChatGPT before, so it gives me straight away very good results. Now, we might iterate on that. It is not necessary because it's just an example. I'm not going to use it anywhere, but might say that you don't like this point. You just highlight it, reply, change this, something like that. I'm not going to do it right now. It's not necessary. So we have now our first prompt. We give it some basic information about what we want to have, and we got the first output. So now we are going to go and have our follow-up prompt. This is exactly the same thing which we have before, just for the product description, because the next step is to generate the product description. And here again, we are going to provide it with some details. I'm going to walk you through just the structure. We added also some keywords because you might want to SEO optimize those. Those are not really optimized keywords, by the way. It's just an example. I just took something to have in there because normally I am adding some keywords in my texts and try to at least have some keywords even in my Amazon descriptions, because it kind of helps the Amazon algorithm to show that this is a relevant keyword and we should be listed or indexed for it. We have again the task, and then we have again the AI persona. And the most important part here is that we are taking this in the exact same window, paste it in, and based on this information, we are going to generate a product description, which is also matching with our bullet points. This is the most important thing about that, is that we have 5 bullet points, and after we iterated on those bullet points and said, okay, now they are perfect, then we go the next step and start generating our product description, because the bullet points and product description should at least match with each other, with the style, also with the pain points or the USPs that you are listing. Both should be found in both in your bullet points and in your product description. There shouldn't be completely new information everywhere. That's why we are doing it this way, so we have a coherent output. All right, so now we have our bullet points and our product description. Let us iterate on that. You can say, I don't like this part, or let's iterate on this one. It seems a little bit too long, so we say make it shorter. And ChatGPT is now going to make it shorter. Let's say that whatever it is saying to us right now will be the final output that we say, okay, it's perfect. Now we are going to move to the next step, which is infographics. On Amazon, it's very important because a lot of people don't read anything. They just looking on the pictures, especially on mobile phones. So it is very important to have some nice infographics which portray your product in the best light possible, and also, sell it a little bit more. So now, as the next step, we are going to take the same information again, and we are going to brainstorm for infographics. So I'm taking now, again, the same chat window, which I have here, where I've generated this, and just pasting the next part. And now, here's also, again, a description. I meta prompted everything here. So I worked basically on the prompt with ChatGPT to get the best possible prompt for this kind of things. Okay, now what we have here, infographic concept for Garmin. Yeah, exactly. This is what I wanted. Now you get 6 ideas on what to do with your infographics. This is chain prompting. You're chaining basically the outputs and inputs together. So you take output of one prompt and use it as input for the other prompts. So you have, in general, in this example, I have bullet points which match and are coherent with my product description, which again match and are coherent with my graphics concepts, which I might send to a professional who can make some professional photographs and infographics for me, which will be matching the USPs, the description, and everything will be coherent and will look nice. This is actually, for me personally, a game changer. It's very, very, very difficult to write product descriptions. I believe so. I am not so good at writing this kind of things because it's boring and it's tedious, especially for products like extension cords. With chain prompting out of the way, we now know what it is, how to use it, and why it's useful. Let us now compare it to chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought prompting is basically one prompt. So you write one wall of text into the prompt and let the AI do the whole thing with one shot. So you basically guide the AI through in this one prompt how it should reason and structure its thought process. So you force it to think about a problem a certain way in a certain structure to make it a little bit more clear. Chain prompting is equals to step-by-step refinement. So every step of the way, we are refining our prompt, we are reiterating on it, and making it better. And then when we are happy with the output, then we are starting with the next prompt, and so on and so on. So we are building our perfect result step by step, iterating on each step on the way. In chain of thought prompting, we are not iterating anything. We are just telling the AI how it should reason about a problem and what structure and what order it should think about the problem. This is helpful in many ways. If you want to one-shot something and you don't get the desired results, you might think about chain of thought prompting to force the AI to think about a problem in a certain way. So this makes it a little bit more clear. Structured COT equals structured reasoning, but within a single prompt. And in chain prompting, we are prompting and reprompting until we get the final result. Here we just prompt one time and then AI does its magic. Let us see chain of thought prompting in action. Based on everything we have done up until now, I use, again, meta prompting to take all those 3 prompts we did and pack it into one chain of thought prompt. So this is our whole prompt where you have your step-by-step instructions. You tell it what it should do on the first step, what it should do on the second step, what it should do at the third step. Each step of the way, you give it different kinds of instructions, and at the end, you give it some task information. Again, we are not going to dive too deep into that, just showcasing what it actually does. We are not using 4.0 for that. We might use 01. It might be a little bit better because the model 01 has some built-in reasoning capabilities, so it automatically reasons about any answer. That's why it also takes a little bit longer. So now, we have our 5 bullet points. If they are better or not, you would have to double check. Mostly the bullet points is not the problematic part. The most problematic part is the product description. It already looks a little bit different. The other one was way better structured, I think. And here we have our infographic concept. For this example, just to show you what it actually does, it basically one-shots the whole problem, gives you the 5 bullet points, the product description, and some infographic concepts after just one single prompt. You can, of course, now iterate on those things. So you can, for example, take the product description and say, make it longer and more structured. Let's see if it understands what I mean with that. Okay, it will, here's a more detailed instruction extended version. Exactly. Here, yes, exactly. I wanted just to have some, bullet points in between or headings in between, so it has a little bit more structure. The result is never going to be as good as if you guide it through chain prompting yourself, at least in my experience. But for some things, it might be enough to just do chain of thought prompting. If a simple prompt which generates the whole thing from the beginning is not enough, then you might experiment with chain of thought prompting. If this doesn't work, then unfortunately you have to do chain prompting to get better results. All right, let's test the same thing with O1. Why I can't switch to O1 now? I have to open a new chat, probably. Yeah. Let's test this one out with O1. O1 has reasoning capabilities, meaning it is giving itself structure on how to reason. So it's prompting itself. All right. It took 90 seconds to generate this. And I would have to check if the result is actually better or not. In this case, I think it's completely unnecessary to use O1, to be honest. Chain prompting was, at least for me up until now, yeah, more than enough with 4.0. I don't need this additional capabilities, especially not for a task like generating my product descriptions. It's just unnecessary that it reasons itself. It's far more helpful when I chain prompt the problem and guide it through, and each step of the way can adapt the output and the direction in which it's going. This is far more helpful than this. But for other more complex problems, it is very useful to know that this is built-in reasoning capabilities are also sometimes very, very awesome and very helpful. Yeah, just check it out if this is something you need or not. Okay, this is everything I wanted to cover. Thank you very much for watching. It was a lot of fun to prepare and make this video. It took also way more effort than I thought it would be. That's why it would be very, very nice if you could, yeah, like and subscribe. Give me some love. Thank you very much and have a good one.